Hello, 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 ladies. I know it's been a minute. Hey, Melanie, how are you? How's everybody doing? So, um, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hey, Buttercup, how are you? All right, so you ladies see the title of this live. I'm gonna share a story about transparency, being real in the interview process. Yeah. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing really, really awesome. I mean, work has been really hectic because now that everybody is returning back to work from having COVID, like our surgery cases are starting to go back through the roof. There's a particular doctor that we have at our campus, and he makes $15,000 per surgical case. And this man works every single day, y'all. I mean, so when I say this man is wearing me down, he's wearing me down. His cases alone have been wearing me down. um, but yeah, he's great. He's great. Um, Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, but to be transparent with you all, I'm never going to be 100%. That's what I was told. And um unfortunately, like before, it's really funny because when I had my accident, I had no clue that I had scoliosis. And actually that's very common. Like a lot of people have like a slight curvature of the spine, but what's funny is when I got into my accident, it actually made my scoliosis more prominent because I had a lot of damage um all the way down my spine. So there's that. But I mean, I just thank God I'm okay. I am in better health. Taking physical therapy and whatnot. So yeah, yeah. You say yes. A lot of clinicians and providers are back slammed again. Oh yeah, like especially at my facility. Jesus. But anyways, let me get to the story. So recently I had conducted an interview at my job, and we had like a nice number of candidates that we wanted to fill this particular position. And excuse me. So this Friday, me, another manager, had conducted an interview for a young man, young black guy. Um, don't really want to be inappropriate. Not that it really matters to the story, but he was sweet. And I think you know what I mean by that. He was sweet, okay? Not that that really matters. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw it in there for the sake of for the sake of the story. um, so basically, you know, I took a look at his resume, and I took a look at his past experience and everything like that. And this young man actually used to work for the post office. So he had a management position at the post office and was making $60,000 a year already. So when he during the interview process, we really wanted to dig in and understand, why would you leave a position that you are already making $60,000 at your age to sacrifice coming here for a position to where you probably be making less money, right? And also on his resume, it said that he wanted to get into the radiology program and that he was a current student. So here's where I'm going with this. Um, a lot of people try to tell you, well, try to play it down if you happen to be a full time student and you're trying to get employment. But here's the thing about it. Now, you have to really know how to play your cards. You have to know how to read the room, in my personal opinion. Um, because at my particular facility, right, we are a trauma level 1 hospital, but we are also a teaching facility. So, if you're in healthcare, you're a full-time student. Oh shoot, y'all, my friend is calling. I'm gonna have to call her back. But yeah, if you're a full-time student and you're trying to get into healthcare and you're trying to actually get a job at a teaching facility, it may work in your best interest to be transparent on your interview and as well as your resume, because here's how we kind of gauge this, right? So, he's currently in school, and like, it's going to take him well over a year to actually graduate from the radiology program. So, in hindsight, that gives us an estimated time of how long we'll be able to keep him employed here for the facility. So, he can give us a good 2 years here as an employee before he graduates. And, we also talked about this on an interview because he was very transparent and he laid all his cards out on the table as far as being a student and what he wanted to pursue and him wanting to be a radiology tech. So, he was very straightforward. He was like, I completely understand that you guys, want to hire people who are going to stay for a certain amount of time. And I do feel like you'll get that with me because, again, even though I'm a student, I'm willing to work around my work schedule. And I explained to him, I said, well, here's how this is going to work, right? We are going to start you off training on days, and days you are going to be training from 6 a.m. to 2:30, right? So I told him, now that way you can gauge your school schedule. If you're working from 6 a.m. to 2:30, you can take afternoon classes and you can have the rest of the day off to do what you need to do. You know what I mean? But we are going to be hiring him for afternoons. I said, you have pretty much well over 16 to 18 weeks of training from 6 to 2:30 to work with, and then after that you'll be heading to afternoons. You'll be coming into work from 2 to 10:30. So you'll have to kind of flip-flop. 2 to 10:30, you can take morning classes, you know what I mean? And he pretty much laid it on the table, I'm not going to necessarily be taking a full load while I'm working full time, but I'm probably going to be taking no more than 2 courses. On the interview, he also asked us, well, I understand that this is a teaching facility. I really want to get my foot in the door and I just really want a shot at working in this department so that I can get a better understanding. And I said, well, let me ask you this, right? Because you are going into radiology, I think that working in this particular department is going to help you get a better understanding of anatomy, right? I said, well, have you taken medical terminology in community college? Have you taken anatomy? So he actually said that, well, I'm going to be truthful. This will be my second time taking medical terminology, but I really want to be in healthcare. This is something that I want to do. So, yeah, I'm currently taking medical terminology for the second time. I said, well, listen, when you are hired in here, to be able to read the scheduling, to be able to read the OR board, baby, you are going to have to get adjusted to knowing medical terminology and as well as anatomy. So if I have you look at the schedule and I'm having you look at a particular time, a particular surgical case in the doctor, and in the description bar, it's going to tell you what they're actually doing in that surgical procedures. And there are going to be certain words that are used in there to where it's not going to be layman terms. It's going to be straight You have to know what it is, what part of the body that is. Um, things like we use things like upper interior on our work schedule, different things like that. So you have to know. And I told him, you're going to catch on very quick because you're not going to have a choice. You're not going to have a choice but to catch on to the medical terminology that we're going to be using it in the surgical environment, because when one of these OR rooms call for you to come downstairs to bring a certain set, you're going to have to understand why they're asking for that set, and you're going to have to understand why they're using that particular set for that particular procedure. So I told him, you are not going to have a choice but to quickly catch on to the medical terminology. So I think that this will be a really great fit for you. I think that this is a good opportunity for you because it's going to help you in the long run once you get into your radiology program, right? Also, another thing that you ladies should understand, the same thing that I told him, listen, when you are hired into a learning facility at the hospital, yes, it is very true that most hospitals will pay for your education, meaning they will reimburse you. But here's what you need to understand about that. Many students use financial aid services, so you need to understand what are the true requirements for the facility. And this is something that I went over with him during the interview. First of all, there is a difference between paying out of pocket and using FAFSA, which is financial aid services, right? So you need to understand the guidelines of the hospital. Is the hospital going to reimburse you if you pay out of pocket versus you using financial aid? Because if you're going through financial aid and you are going through human resources to try to get reimbursement from the hospital, they may not reimburse you because you are not paying out of pocket. So a lot of times when it comes to the facilities trying to reimburse you money for classes, that means that you're paying out of pocket and not using financial aid. So that's another thing that I explained to him, that he was like, wow, I really did not know that. I didn't even think about that. I said, yes, it's very important that you distinguish what are the true guidelines of you getting your reimbursement, right? Also, here at our facility, you have to stay with us for up to a year once you get those reimbursements from the hospital. You're also required to print out official transcripts or just a copy of your transcripts and make sure that you send them to HR per semester that you take your courses. That's another thing that you have to stay on top of. Also, at our particular facility, you have to maintain a 2.3 to 2.5 GPA in order to get those school reimbursements back. Hey, Mocha Mommy. Hey. Hey, honey. If you guys are not subscribed to Mocha Mommy's channel, please make sure that you subscribe. She has awesome information, great, awesome educational content. Absolutely love it. Oh, is the audio going in and out for anybody else? It may be doing that because I kept getting a phone call. I apologize. But if you ladies happen to miss anything I said, it's very important that you distinguish the guidelines of tuition reimbursement at your facility. Like I said, there's a huge difference between paying out of pocket and using FAFSA. If you are indeed using FAFSA, that is not that goes against the guidelines of the tuition reimbursement for your facility. The majority of these facilities, I'm not going to say all, but the majority of these hospital facilities, they want you to be paying out of pocket for your classes in order to be reimbursed, right? And again, at my particular facility, you have to maintain a 2.3 to 2.5 GPA to continue getting your tuition reimbursements, and you have to stay with us a year after graduation, right? So that's everything that I actually explained to him during his interview. But, for the most part, I'm we're willing to take a chance with him. He's still fairly young, still very fairly young. And, we really wanted him to explain in an interview, what is it about this position that you are willing to sacrifice, making $60,000 a year at your young age, in your early 20s, making $60,000 a year to come here at a entry level position. Now, I also told him, you have to understand, because you are not certified, and because this is literally your first time your foot in the door in healthcare, we have to start you off at 1650. So at our particular facility, still processing, all of our candidates are assigned and start off at like 1650 coming through the door. That means no certification, and that means no previous experience, right? So yeah, he actually said, well, that's perfectly fine, I will take it. And I also explained to him, now keep in mind, you're going to afternoon, so you will get offered your shift differential as well. So also keep that in mind. The shift differential is about $1 and some change, right? So once they reach out to you this upcoming Monday from Human Resources, they will actually go over the pay rate with you. We'll go over your hours and everything that you need. And also here where I work, management is no longer allowed to be a part of the process of how can I say this? We are no longer allowed to be a part of the pay rate process, because what was happening in the past at our particular facility is that people were getting hired in at very unfair rates or favoritism rates. So now where I work, we are not allowed to be a part of that process when it comes to human resources and discussing the pay rates with our new incoming people. So it is 100% the responsibility without management for human resources to go over that with our new people coming in. So I also discussed that with him as well. So yes. Oh, you said you're 4 classes away from my 4 classes away from my externship and my associate's degree. Oh, congratulations, girl. Congratulations. Love to hear it. But yeah, like, I really just wanted to come on here and tell you ladies that story, and how my interview process went with me interviewing a new candidate and interviewing somebody that young as well. So I just wanted to give you an insight from a manager's position about how that interview went. Also, as far as the questions that were asked, so we actually have a list of questions, of pre-typed questions that we ask each candidate. An example of these questions are, where do you see yourself in 5 years? We also ask each candidate, tell us about a mistake that you made on your previous position. Another question that we also ask each candidate is, tell us a weakness that you think you have. And I can honestly say, this young man, he really knocked the ball out of the park with his interview. So of course afterwards, with us, you're pretty much hired in, because, okay, well, would you like a tour of the OR? Sure. So once we hand you your bunny suit and your surgical bonnet, you're in, because we would not waste our time giving you a tour of the OR if we were not going to hire you. So we're going to be looking forward to training him for the next 16 to 18 weeks on day shift, and then he will be moving to his designated shift for afternoons. I think that he's going to catch on fairly quickly, because again, being in the medical field is something that he wants to get into. He wants to be a radiology tech. So this is going to really put him through the front doors. And another thing that you all have to understand, here's the key to healthcare. once you get your foot in the door, you are in for life. Because the thing about healthcare, it's extremely hard to get into. It's extremely hard to get your foot in the door. But once you're in, honey, you are in. You are in for life. So, him being with us for a couple of years until he graduates, he will definitely not have an issue transitioning into his radiology career after this is all said and done. So I just wanted to come on here and share this really quick. I might go live again later on today to talk more in depth about the interview, as well as the list of questions that we asked. Also talking more in depth about about the tuition reimbursement when it comes to these facilities. Please understand that 9 times out of 10, you will have to be paying out of pocket for the classes in order to get the reimbursement from the facility. But again, every place is different. So it's best that you go on the website or contact the educational department of human resources, and then they can further tell you more information. But ladies, thank you so much for coming to the live, and I will talk to you later. Bye.